Hi everyone, we are on Chapter 7 of Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing. It is called The Flying Train Committee. In January, our class started on a project on the city. Mrs. Haver, our teacher, divided us into committees by where we live. That way we could work at home. My committee was me, Jimmy Fargo, and Sheila. Our topic was transportation. We decided to make my apartment the meeting place because I'm the only one out of three of us who's got his own bedroom. In a few weeks, each committee has to hand in a booklet, a poster, and be ready to give an oral report. The first day we got together after school, we bought a yellow poster board. Jimmy wanted a blue one, but Sheila talked him out of it. Yellow is a brighter color, she explained. Everything will show up on it. Blue is too dull. Sheila thinks that she is smarter than me and Jimmy put together, just because she is a girl. So right away, she told us that she would be in charge of our booklet and me and Jimmy could just do most of the poster, as long as we check in with her first to make sure that she likes our ideas. We agreed since Sheila promised to do 10 pages of written work and we would only have to do 5. After we bought the yellow poster board, we went to the library. We took out 7 books on transportation. We wanted to learn all we could about speed, traffic congestion, and pollution. We arranged to meet on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons for the next 2 weeks. Our first committee meetings turned out like this. We got to my place by 3:30. We had a snack and then we played with Dribble for another half an hour. Sheila gave up on Cooties when Fudge lost his front teeth, but it still isn't much fun to have her hanging around. She's always complaining that she got stuck with the worst possible committee and that me and Jimmy fool around more than we work. We only put up with her because we have no choice. Sheila and Jimmy have to be home by supper before 5:30. So at 5 o'clock, we start cleaning up. We keep our equipment under my bed in a shoebox. We have a set of magic markers, Elmer's glue, Scotch tape, a really sharp pair of scissors, and a container of silver sparkle. Sheila carries our committee booklet back and forth with her. She does not trust us enough to leave it at my house. The poster board fits under my bed, along with our supplies. We stack the library books on my desk. The reason I make sure we clean up good is that my mother told me if I left a mess, we would have to find somewhere else to work. By our third meeting, I told Jimmy and Sheila that I'd figured out the solution to New York's traffic problems. We have to get rid of the traffic, I said. There shouldn't be any cars or buses or taxis allowed in this city. What we really need in this city is a citywide monorail system. That's too expensive, Sheila said. It sounds good, but it's not practical. I disagree, I told Sheila. It's very practical. Besides, getting rid of traffic, it'll get rid of air pollution and it will get people where they're going a lot faster. But it's not practical, Peter, Sheila said again. It costs too much money. I opened one of my books on transportation and read Sheila a quote. A monorail system is the hope of the future. I cleared my throat and I looked up. But we can't write a report just on the monorail, Sheila said. We will never be able to fill 20 pages with just that. We can write really big, Jimmy suggested. No, Sheila said. I want a good mark on this project. Peter, you can write 5 pages about the monorail system and how it works. Jimmy, you can write your 5 pages about pollution caused by transportation. And I will write my 10 pages on the history of transportation in the city. Sheila folded her arms and smiled. Can I write really big? Jimmy asked. I don't care how big you write as long as you put your name on your 5 pages, Sheila told him. That's not fair, Jimmy said. This is supposed to be a group project. Why should I have to put my name on only my 5 pages? Well, then don't write big, Sheila said. All right. I'll write so small that Mrs. Haver will need a microscope to see the letters. Very funny, Sheila said. Look, I told both of them, I think all of our written work should be in the same handwriting. That's the only fair way. Otherwise, Mrs. Haver will know who did what, and it won't be a group project. Say, that's a really good idea, said Jimmy. Which one of us has the best handwriting? Me and Jimmy looked at Sheila. Well, I do have even and nice script, Sheila said. But if I'm going to copy over your written work, you better give it to me by next Tuesday. Otherwise, I will not have enough time to do the job. And you two will better get going on your poster. Sheila talked to us like she was the teacher and we were the kids. Me and Jimmy designed the whole poster ourselves. We used the pros and cons of each kind of transportation. It was really clever. We divided a chart into land and sea and air, and we planned an illustration for each, with the airplane done in silver sparkle and the letters done in red and blue, magic marker. We got halfway through the lettering that day. We also sketched in a ship, a plane, and a truck. When Sheila saw it, she asked, "Is that supposed to be a train?" "No," I said to her. "It's a truck." "Well, it doesn't look like one," she said. "It will," Jimmy told her, "when it's finished." "I hope so," Sheila said, "because right now it looks like a flying train." "That's because the ground's not under it yet," Jimmy said. "Yeah," I agreed. "See, we've got to make it look like it's on a street. Right now it does look like it's just up in space." "Well, so does the ship," Sheila said. "All right, we'll put some water lines around it," I told her, "and some clouds around the plane," Sheila said. "Listen," Jimmy hollered, "does anyone ever tell you that maybe you're just a little too bossy? This poster is ours. You're doing the booklet, remember? That's the way you wanted it." "See, there you go again," Sheila said. "You keep forgetting that this is a committee. We're supposed to be working together." "Working together does not mean you give the orders and we just carry them out," Jimmy said. My feelings exactly, I thought. Sheila did not answer Jimmy. She picked up her things, got her coat, and she left. "I hope she never comes back," Jimmy said. "She'll be back," I told him. "We're her committee." Jimmy laughed. "Yeah, we're all one happy committee." I put our poster under the bed, said goodbye to Jimmy, and then washed up for supper. My mother was pretty nice about the committee meetings. She arranged to have Fudge play in Ralph's apartment on Tuesdays and at Jenny's on Thursdays. Sam has the chicken pox, so he cannot play at all. I was glad that the next week would be our last committee meetings after school. I was sick of Sheila and I was sick of transportation. Besides, now that I knew a monorail system was the only way to save our city, I was getting upset that the mayor and all the other guys that run this city hall weren't doing anything about installing one. If I know that that's the best method of transportation, how come they don't know? The next day, when I came home from school, I went into my bedroom to see Dribble like I always do. Fudge was in there sitting on my bed. "Why are you in my room?" I asked him. He smiled. "You know you're not supposed to be in here. This is my room." "Want to see?" Fudge said. "See what?" "Want to see?" "What? What are you talking about?" I asked. He jumped off my bed and crawled underneath it. He came back out with our poster. He held it up and said, "See, pretty." "What did you do?" I yelled. "What did you do to our poster?" It was covered with scribbles in every color of magic marker. It was ruined. It was a mess and it was ruined. I was about ready to kill Fudge. I grabbed my poster and I ran into the kitchen to show my mom. I could hardly speak. "Look," I said, feeling a lump in my throat. "Just look what he did to my poster." And I felt tears come into my eyes, but I didn't care. "How could you let him?" I asked my mom. "How? Do you not care about me?" I threw the poster down and I ran into my room, slammed the door, took off my shoe, and flung it at the wall. It made a black mark where I hit. So what? Soon I heard my mother hollering, and then Fudge was crying. After a while, my mom knocked on my bedroom door and called, "Peter, may I come in?" I didn't answer her. She opened the door and walked over to my bed. She sat down next to me. "I am very sorry," she said. I still didn't say anything. "Peter," she began. I didn't even look at her. She touched my arm. "Peter, listen, please." "Don't you see, Mom? I can't even do my homework without him messing it up. It's just not fair. I wish he was never born. Never. I hate him." "Don't hate him," my mother said. "You just think you do." "Don't tell me," I said. "I mean it. I really can't stand that kid." "You're angry," my mom told me. "I know, and I don't blame you. Fudge had no right to touch your poster. I spanked him." "You did?" I asked. "Fudge never gets spanked. My parents don't believe in spanking." "You spanked him?" I asked again. "Yes," my mom said. "Hard?" I asked. "Yes, on his backside," she told me. I thought that over. "Peter," my mom put her arm around me. "I'll buy you a new poster board tomorrow. It was really my fault, and I should have never let him into your room." "That's why I need a lock on my door," I said. "I don't like locks on doors. We're a family. We don't have to lock each other out." "If I had a lock on my door, Fudge would not have gotten to my poster." "It won't happen again," my mother promised. I wanted to believe her, but I really didn't. Unless she tied him up, I knew that my brother would get into my room again. The next day, while I was at school, my mother bought a new yellow poster board. The hard part was explaining to Jimmy that we had to start all over again. He was a really good sport about it. He said that this time he would make sure that the truck didn't look like it was a flying train, and that and I said that this time I'd make pencil marks first so my letters didn't go uphill. Our committee met that afternoon. Sheila did not mention the last time. Neither did we. Me and Jimmy worked on the poster while Sheila copied our written work into the booklet. We'd be ready to give our oral report to the class on Monday. Not like some committees who had not even started. By 5 o'clock, we had finished our poster and Sheila was almost done with the cover for our booklet. Jimmy walked over and stood behind her, watching her. After a minute, he yelled, "What do you think you're doing, Sheila?" I got up from the floor and joined them at my desk. I took a look at the cover. It was pretty nice. It said, "Transportation in the City." Under that, it said, by Sheila Tubman, Peter Hatcher, and James Fargo. And under that, in small letters, it said, "Handwritten by Miss Sheila Tubman." Now I knew why Jimmy was mad. "Oh, no," I said, holding my hand to my head. "How could you?" Sheila didn't say anything. "It's not fair," I told her. "We didn't put our names on the poster." "But the cover's all done," Sheila said. "You can't see that? I'll never get the letters so straight again. It looks perfect." "Oh, no," Jimmy shouted. "We are not handing in the booklet like that. I will rip it up before I let you." And he grabbed the booklet and threatened to tear it in half. Sheila screamed, "You wouldn't! I'll kill you! Give it back to me, Jimmy Fargo!" And she was about ready to cry. I knew Jimmy wouldn't tear it up, but I didn't say so. "Peter, make him give it back." "Will you take off that line about how you wrote it in your own handwriting?" I asked. "I can't. It'll ruin the booklet." "Then I think you should rip it up," I said. Sheila stamped her foot. "Oh, I hate you both." "You don't really," I told her. "You just think you do." "I know I do," said Sheila. "That's because you're angry right now," I said, and I couldn't help but smiling. Sheila jumped up and tried to get the booklet, but Jimmy held it over his head and he's much taller than Sheila. She had no chance at all. Finally, she sat down and whispered, "I give up. You win. Take my name off." "You promise?" Jimmy asked. "I promise I will," Sheila said. Jimmy set the booklet down on my desk in front of Sheila. "Okay," he said. "Okay," he said. "Start." "I'm not going to make a whole new cover," Sheila said. "What I'll do is I'll turn that bottom line into a decoration." She picked up a magic marker and made little flowers out of the words, soon handwritten by Miss Sheila Tubman, turned into 16 small flowers. "There," Sheila said. "It's done." "Looks pretty good," I told her. "It would have looked even better without the flowers," Jimmy said, "but at least it's fair now." That night, I showed my mom and father our new poster. They thought it was great, especially our silver sparkle airplane. My mother put the poster on top of the refrigerator so it would be safe until the next day when I would take it to school. Now I had nothing to worry about. Sheila had the booklet, the poster was safe, and our committee was finished before schedule. I went into my room to relax. Fudge was sitting on the floor near my bed. My shoebox of supplies was in front of him. His face was a mess of magic marker colors, and he was using my extra sharp scissors to snip away his hair. And the hair he snipped was dropping into Dribble's bowl, which he had in front of him on the floor. "See," he said. "See, Fudge. Fudgy's a barber." That night, I found out hair does not hurt my turtle. I picked up every strand from his shell. I cleaned his bowl and I washed off his rocks. He seemed happy. 2 things happened the next day. One was that my mom had to take Fudge to the real barber to do something about his hair. He had plenty left in the back, but just nothing on the top or the front. The barber said that there wasn't much he could do until the hair grew back. Between his fangs and his hair, he was getting funnier looking every day. The second thing was that my father came home with a chain latch for my bedroom door. I could reach it when I stood on tiptoes, but my brother, he would not be able to reach it no matter what. Our committee was the first to give its report. Mrs. Haver said we did a super job. She liked our poster a lot. She thought the silver sparkle airplane was the best. The only thing she asked us was, how come we included a picture of a flying train? That's the end of chapter 7.